I'm going to ask our city manager, Eric Lee, to do the invocation today. And I'm going to ask Councilmember Mike Tayeda to do the Pledge of Allegiance today.
Please bow your heads. Father, thank you for just giving us the opportunity to get together to conduct the citizens' business for the city of Hawthorne this evening. I pray that you give our policymakers wisdom as they make decisions for this community, and please bless us. Amen.
Yeah. All right, everybody, let's stand up, face the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance
to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Deputy City Clerk, could you please do the roll call, please?
Councilmember Awad? Councilmember Montero?
Yeah.
Councilmember Toledo?
Here.
Councilmember Valentine?
Here.
Mayor Vargas?
Here.
Okay, we have everybody here except for Councilmember Awad.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have the Supervisor-elect Holly Mitchell here with us?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Oh, hey there. How are you?
Fine. How about you, Mayor Vargas?
Congratulations. Welcome to the city of Hawthorne. We're looking forward to working with you. And well, we want to hear from you. Tell us what you got going on. What are
Thank
your
you.
plans? Tell us what you want.
Thank you very much, Mayor Vargas. Mayor Pro Tem and council members, thank you so much for allowing me to just pop in with you very briefly. As you can see by my casual attire and the blank walls behind me, I'm in the middle of moving. Thanksgiving week, can you imagine? But I'm packing up my home here in Sacramento. I've been in the legislature 10 years. Moving is a horrible thing to have to do. I've tried to throw away more things than we packed, but that's what I'm in the process of doing. So fortunately for me, you are conducting your council meetings via Zoom, so it allowed me to pop in. I just wanted to very briefly say hello. I have not even taken the oath of office, but I've made it a point over the last week to reach out to as many of the city councils who comprise the 2nd Supervisorial District. You know, there are 9 cities. Just to say, I look forward to our collaborative working relationship. I am deeply, deeply concerned about the experience our shared constituencies are having right now as a result of this public health and economic pandemic. And I know it's going to require all of us working together and to give all that we have to help our residents navigate their way through and out of this unprecedented crisis. Within my first 100 days, I intend to convene a roundtable to ask all the mayors to come so we don't get into Brown Act problems. You're going to bring one council member or your city manager, whatever you prefer, because it needs to be a listening session. I want to hear from you, A, your concerns, and B, the kind of support you're looking for from the county. I have served the last 4 years as chair of the Senate Budget Committee. And so I am clear that all of us are going to need federal assistance, state assistance, to make sure that local governments have the resources they need to support our residents. So that's it. I wanted to say hello, wanted you to know that I intend to roll up my sleeves and work alongside you and partner with you to make the 2nd Supervisorial District the best it possibly can be. I don't take the oath until December 6th, but I hit the ground running because our first board meeting is December 8th. And so I welcome ongoing conversation. Mayor Vargas, please expect to hear from a yet to be hired staff member from my team to reach out to you, to talk to you about this idea I have and my intention to convene all the mayors within our first 100 days. Thank you so much for allowing me to share a few words this evening.
Well, I want to thank you for being here. And one of the things that really resonated with me is the engagement you want to have with the cities. I have to admit, the previous 4 years, the previous representation wasn't really what we thought it would be. But I've been hearing about you and your way of being, your way of outreach. Now you're telling me that you're going to be engaging with us directly. So that's like warm welcome news for me. And you know what I'm talking about, but we just got to be as nice as possible, right? I really appreciate that.
And I appreciate you giving me a few moments today.
Yeah.
Through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome, Ms. Mitchell. This is Olivia Valentine. I'm one of the council members. And welcome. And I share Mayor Vargas' sentiment. We are very much anxious to see how we can engage with you because, again, the past 4 years, we have not had very much engagement with the supervisor's office. And I would like to see that change. We have very unique needs in the city of Hawthorne, which I would like to at some point discuss with you as far as our housing is concerned and other things that we have. And I'm sure you know about this latest lockdown. This is going to have a devastating effect on our city. And I'm hoping that we can get some engagement from you to look at these things uniquely and not just a one-size-fits-all attitude. So I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Valentine. If I could just say briefly, I hear you loud and clear. And as chair of the Senate Budget Committee, that also makes me chair of something called the Joint Legislative Budget Committee, kind of a unique quirk in Senate rules that no one paid attention to, quite frankly, until this pandemic. And the Joint Legislative Budget Committee is the entity that works in partnership with the governor in allocating state resources when the legislature is out of session. And we were out of session most of this calendar year. And so I had to work arm in arm with the governor and the Office of Emergency Services to allocate emergency resources to appropriate and approve the spending of the CARES dollars that came from the federal government. And so we do have to talk about resources, and we do have to talk about what's best at the municipality level as well as the county level. And I have to tell you, these transition meetings I've been engaging in, I am so concerned about the rate of transmission in the second supervisorial district. And I appreciate, and I know there was the Restaurant Association had their day in court today to really talk about how yet another closure will harm them. I completely get that. I am also keenly aware of what 5,000 new transmissions per day can mean to our health care infrastructure. And so we have to work collaboratively, you as civic leaders, to make sure that our residents understand what happens when they convene at home. I'm so worried about Thanksgiving, I don't know what to do. Because we are clear that that's where the transmission rates are coming from. And what government can do is limited. We can shut down public spaces. We can't tell you not to go to grandma's house for Thanksgiving. So these transmission rates are creeping up. The second district has been hit at a disproportionately high rate. So we have to pay attention to that too. And that's the kind of data I hope to make sure to share with you. We are looking at it on a zip code by zip code basis. And so we can drill down to let you know the experience your residents are having. And that I'm sure will be the focus of our conversation when I host the meetings with the mayor, the meeting with the mayors within the first 100 days. I hear you loud and clear, and I intend to be your partner.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Ms. Mitchell. This is Alex Montero, City Councilman.
Mr. Pro Tem, great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Actually, I have to tell you, it's not just 4 years that we have been neglected. It's been about more than 8 years. Since Yvonne Burns, got out of office, Hawthorne has been neglected, okay? So, like you said, this is your supervisor now, and we hope to have a great relationship with you. Hawthorne, we need a hospital. So keep that in mind. So we're going to be talking to you about that because, this pandemic have shown us that, hospitals are not enough. So when you look at right here in South Bay, okay, so Hawthorne, we're surrounding from all these other cities, almost 300,000 people have no hospital. in right here. So we need to talk about that. And I look forward for your enthusiasm. And I'm glad you had a lot of experience in Sacramento, about budget. So we definitely will have a very constructive dialogue because we have some need in the city of Hawthorne and we want to be your partner and we're going to tell you all about it. Okay. So
I appreciate that.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. And let me just say this, relationships are two-way streets.
Yes.
And so I took the initiative to come, but even before I took the oath of office, to introduce myself and tell you my vision and my plan. But that doesn't mean that you can't call me or email me as well. So if the mayor supports that, again, I'm going to convene this listening session. And frankly, I think it's something that we'll probably try to do at least on a quarterly basis. I think it's important for the 9 cities that comprise the second supervisorial district to also have working relationships with each other. And so again, this first one will be a listening session. I look to listen and hear and learn from you. I hope the mayors are able to listen and learn from each other to really figure out how we can best provide critical life-sustaining services to our shared constituency. So I look forward to hearing from you as well, Mr. Pro Tem.
Thank you.
To the chair.
Yes, council member.
Ms. Mitchell, congratulations. I think that district is going to be well served by you. I'm kind of an outgoing guy, but I wanted to, I run a foundation to help post 9/11 combat wounded vets. I've been doing that for almost 15 years here in Southern California. And so any issues that have to do with particularly the young veterans or the combat wounded, I'd be very interested to be invited to any events that you guys are planning. And I think you're going to do a great job. I love your enthusiasm, and I think that it's welcome. It's really welcome. And congratulations again. Okay?
Councilman, thank you very much. I appreciate those kind words. While I may be new to Hawthorne in my elected position, I'm not new to Hawthorne in terms of providing services. Before I ran for the assembly in 2010, I was the CEO of a child development agency, Crystal Stairs, for about 10 years. And we provided support to child care providers, small business men and women in your fair city, as well as critical child care services to many low-income working families. And so again, Hawthorne residents know me through that work, and I hope that I will continue to maintain their confidence as I move into this new aspect of my own professional and personal life. So thank you.
Thank you. Crystal Stairs, yes. I have my own preschool that, remember LA-UP?
Yes, of course.
Yes, I was a provider for LA-UP for 10 years. So
got it.
We have something in common.
We do have something in common, indeed, indeed.
Right.
Well, Mayor Vargas, again, thank you so much for the opportunity. Please expect to hear from me for that invitation in my first 100 days.
Thank you so much for being here. Let's give her a round of applause and welcome her.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And I wish everybody a safe and thankful Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Very safe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read the guidelines for oral communications, ma'am.
During oral communications, speakers shall have 3 minutes to state their business. The Brown Act prohibits the City Council from providing a detailed response or acting upon any items not contained on the agenda. The governing bodies as a body shall have the discretion at the close of oral communications to refer your remarks to the city manager for study, investigation, report, and/or recommendation.
Right, anybody?
Yes, we have 3 speakers. Let me get this.
Do you have any cards? Do you have any emails, letters, or anything?
We have 1 speaker. He's on the phone. I'm going to put him on right now.
No, I know, but do you have any? So you have 1 speaker, and how many letters do you have?
We don't have any letters. We have 3 speakers.
Speakers? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Sar. Hi. Okay, you are on right now. You can go ahead and speak.
Dear City Council, my name is Mazzaro. I'm a resident of Hawthorne and a member of Streetwatch LA South Bay. I'm calling today because I believe our city should be be better serving our unhoused population. Over the last year, I have been doing outreach all over the South Bay and have met hundreds of unhoused people. I've come to learn many lessons through my experience working with the unhoused. But one lesson I have learned is that our city of Hawthorne does more to harm unhoused people than to help them. Our policies do more to keep people on the streets than to help them get off. What unhoused people need to help them get off the streets is stability. The city's policies of sweeping unhoused people, forcing them to move with the knowledge that there is nowhere for them to go, is not only unconstitutional and cruel, but creates the very kind of instability that prevents folks from getting off the streets. The city of Redondo Beach has, unlike Hawthorne, taken those facts seriously, that sweeping people in this manner is unconstitutional and will lead to lawsuits. Because they don't want to get sued, they have started the process of making 15 pallet houses available for unhoused people. While they have openly admitted that the reason they are doing this is so that they can resume enforcement of sweeps, something Streetwatch LA South Bay finds disappointing, they are at least doing something. Meanwhile, the city of Hawthorne has a meeting every other month and talks about doing something someday. We are 5 years into this crisis. The time to act was years ago. You need to stop talking and start helping people. Help by providing safe parking and safe ground for people to sleep at night. Help by offering life-changing services like showers, bathrooms, and trash pickup. Help by building shelters and community housing so that good people do not have to sleep next to freeways and next to storm drains. People like my friends, Mike and Don, who the system has just completely failed. Each time I see Mike, he looks skinnier and weaker. I don't know how much longer he can survive on the streets with his heart condition. He will die if things do not change in our community. I'm also extremely disappointed in the way that the city of Hawthorne has handled concerned citizens like me and my group. When we came to you, we were treated with disrespect by the city manager, Eric Lee, who called us liars and told us that we should not be allowed to present to this council. How do you look the people of Hawthorne in the eyes, tell them you want to engage, and then when they do, call them liars? That is just so disappointing. There are young people in my group, 19-year-olds, who are trying to make the world a better place. And when they run into a city government like Hawthorne, it just completely disenchants them. They don't want to help their community because their leaders are ignoring the pleas of the people and trying to subjugate them so that they can't have a voice in the system. What message does that send to our young people?
Hi, Mr. Zara, your 3 minutes are up.
All right, have a good night. Thank you for this time.
Thank you.
All right, next, go ahead.
Okay, next we have Kyle Orleman. Hi, Kyle.
Yes.
Hi, it's your turn. Go ahead and speak.
He's still speaking.
That your computer's delayed.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Mr. Mayor and City Council members. Oops. Yes, I'm here. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. It's nice to see you and city staff. I have a couple of comments that I wanted to bring up. Okay, I guess I should just go ahead, Monica.
Yes, go ahead. You might turn your computer down.
Tell her to turn it off, the volume off while she speaks.
I'm gonna do that. Okay, back with you. Sorry about that. All this technology is challenging sometimes. Okay, anyway, thank you for the opportunity. Glad to see all your faces again. I wanted to bring up a couple of issues having to do with item number 14 on the agenda, which is related to the veteran housing project on Corderi that you're going to be addressing tonight. When I saw the city council agenda last week, I immediately called the clerk's office, and as a result of that, I had an extended conversation with City Manager Lee, which was very productive, and he was tremendously helpful, and also had Planning Director Greg Suchiguchi, call me. We had a conversation last week as well. One of the things that I wanted to point out at the moment is that I have been unable to open any of the supporting documents for the agenda item for tonight, not on my phone and not on my computer.
We'll give it a couple more seconds, and then we'll move on to the next one if she doesn't get back online. Okay, Diane. Can we move on to the next person, please?
For this project has been very unique since it's located next to schools and parks and things that would be particularly suited for single veterans with children.
Diane,
The units that we're building on Cordero.
can you stop her and have her repeat the last like 30 seconds of what she was saying?
Not accommodate the families that have children. So since our
Diane, can you interrupt her, please? And have her start the last 30 seconds. We didn't hear any of it.
Discuss this. We really have not had the input that we would like to have, especially since we've been working on this project for a number of years. So I would like to ask you to seriously consider. We have the opportunity to.
Kyle,
No,
I'm sorry, can you hold on for 1 sec?
Diane, so basically you accidentally muted the speaker. So we didn't hear anything of that she said in the last 30-40 seconds. So if you can ask her just to restate her whole statement, just so we can have the benefit of hearing it, please.
Kyle, can you backtrack about a minute? Unfortunately, I accidentally muted you.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, I'm not sure where a minute was, but basically I was saying that my understanding is that the units are going to be, all but one will be 1 bedroom. And since we have been working on this project for a number of years now, and we're specifically wanting to target this housing project toward veterans who have children, especially small children, and especially since that location is located so close and in walking distance to facilities that would accommodate those children, I have great concern about those buildings being built as only 1 bedroom units. And I would ask that we have the opportunity on the Veterans Commission to meet with the people that are involved in this proposal. And I would beg you to please give serious consideration to making those units, even if you cannot increase the number of them, to please make them at least 2 and 3 bedroom units, so that the families that have children can be accommodated, since there is nothing coming up in the next few years for that specific veteran population. We look forward to being able to meet again, whether that be by Zoom or not. Would love to meet with the proposed developers and be involved in the negotiations for this. Those of us who are on the Veterans Commission are very well aware of other projects that are being done, and I believe that our input on what we'll be building here in Hawthorne is absolutely essential. And we don't want to duplicate what's being done elsewhere, and we do want to plug the holes and the unmet needs for the veterans who have children who are not being accommodated with the other projects. So I just wanted to get that in there and urge you to please do whatever you can to address that particular issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Diana. Yeah. The next speaker, please.
We had one more speaker, but we haven't been able to get through to her. Her name is G. We can try and dial her one more time if you want.
You weren't able to get through to her, or did she hang up, or what?
No, we haven't been able to get through.
How many times did you call?
A couple times.
All right, then I think we need to move ahead. I mean,
Okay.
You can try one more time. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on.
Mr. City Manager, can
Hi,
you
G.
take a look at the document I sent you right
Hi,
now?
I'm gonna
Email?
put you on speakerphone right now for the council meeting. Did you still want to speak? Okay, all right, go ahead. Okay, we have G on speaker. Go ahead, G. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hello, G?
Hi, Sylvia.
Hi, okay, go ahead.
All right. Good evening, Hawthorne City Council. This is G, your favorite tranny anarchist from Hawthorne. I hope to deeply offend you tonight. As a collective, you have done various tactics to suppress the concerns of your constituents. Rather than appropriately responding to the needs of your most marginalized, you have continued to sit on your asses, pat yourselves on the back, all the while receiving taxpayer money. While y'all were spending thousands upon thousands to get your sorry asses reelected into office, my comrades and I have done everything in our capacity to feed, care for, and strengthen our community. We have stepped up because Hawthorne governance has shown time and time again that you are content with the status quo. You are content with families going hungry. You are content with our neighbors freezing in the streets. You are content with renters losing their homes. You are content with workers contracting COVID. You are content with neighbors facing the barrel of a cop's gun. We have a crisis on our hands, and your idleness is deafening. We know your role in our lives, and it has never been for our safety and well-being. Yet, you have the power to get things on the right track. Meet the demands of the Hawthorne Abolition Alliance, defund Hawthorne Police Department, direct that money to departments that desperately need it, invest in your community, feed your people, house your people, nurse your people. This pandemic is leaving your most vulnerable citizens on their knees, and I refuse to tolerate your inaction. I will take this Thursday, National Day of Mourning, to grieve all the lives the city of Hawthorne has failed and is failing. I hope you do the same, but remember, only y'all have the direct power to change the legislation of our city. I yield my time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read the guidelines for oral communications. Do you have anybody else though?
No, there's no one else.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Already did.
Oral communication.
Oral communication is finished.
Yes. So I'm asking Madam Clerk to read the consent calendar.
Oh, you said oral communication.
Oh, did I? If I did, I don't know. Okay. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I have 3 items on my consent calendar for your approval. Item number 6, approval of city council minutes for the regular meeting of November 10th, 2020 and the special meeting of November 10th, 2020. Item number 7, approval of waivers of full readings of resolutions and ordinances on tonight's agenda. Item number 8, city treasurer requests approval of the warrants.
I move.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Please vote. Roll call vote, Miss Deputy City Clerk.
Councilmember Montero,
Yes.
Councilmember Toledo,
Yes.
Councilmember Valentine,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
Okay, the vote reflects mayor and city council voting yes with Councilmember Awad absent.
Okay. Next, we have general matters. Item number 14. Planning Director Greg Tsuchiuchi will be giving us the report on this item. Go ahead, Planning Director.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. Item number 14 before you is the selection of a developer for the Veterans Housing Project located next to 14115 Cordelia Avenue. If you recall, during the wind down of all the redevelopment agencies in California, the city became the housing successor agency and took ownership of several housing assets, and one being the approximate 40,000 square foot parcel located next to 14115 Cordelia Avenue. Initially, back in December 2019, at that parcel, the city issued an RFP for the development of an 18-unit veterans housing project. However, after negotiations with the selected developer, it was determined that the developer was unable to move forward with the project without increasing the number of units. Subsequently, in September of 2020, the city sought the expertise of Harrison Associates to assist staff in issuing a second RFP for the same type of development and to seek qualified bidders and analyze the responses. The city received one proposal that fully responded to all aspects of the RFP, was analyzed by our consultant, and satisfactorily interviewed by staff on November 12th. The successful proposal was provided by Skid Row Housing Trust. Therefore, staff is recommending that the City Council authorize the city manager to enter into an exclusive negotiation agreement with Skid Row Housing Trust to negotiate the disposition and development of the Corderi parcel for an 18-unit veterans housing project. With us tonight is Hita Mosesman from Harrison Associates to provide more details on the selection process and the overall and financial analysis of the proposal and answer any further questions. And then following those questions, there will be a representative, I believe Sierra from Skid Row Housing Trust, that will be able to provide a short presentation. So at this time, I'd like to introduce you to Hita Mosesman from Harrison Associates.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm Hita Mosesman. I'm a Senior Director at Harrison Associates, and we are working with city staff on the developer selection for the Corderi project. And I think Greg summed it up very well. An RFP was issued in September. We received one proposal. And when we did receive that proposal, myself and my staff did vet the proposal and conduct a comprehensive review to ensure that every piece of information that was requested as part of the RFP was met. And we also asked the developer to submit what's called a pro forma analysis on the development in Excel format. So we had their spreadsheet, and basically a pro forma analysis shows all the costs of a proposed project and then the revenues of the proposed project. And it basically demonstrates the financial feasibility or the ability to have enough funds to construct the project. And so we did a very comprehensive review of this pro forma. There were several types of financial tools that were proposed as part of this project. More than a little over half of the cost of the project is funded through low income housing tax credits through the federal government that is administered by the state of California. You'll understand why I mention this in a moment, but there were a couple of other sources of funding. There's a type of loan that's specific for veterans projects through the state of California that will be utilized. And there's a contribution of land and funding from the city as well to make this project a reality. After doing our comprehensive review of the proposal, and as I said, the financial calculations, we reviewed all the assumptions, including construction costs for reasonableness and the ability to secure financing. And we conducted an interview with Skid Row Housing with city staff as well as the city attorney on November 12th. We asked a number of questions, trying to ensure that the developer was prepared to do the project, why they felt confident about the certain public funding sources that they were requesting from the state of California, and how to make sure that the funding that is proposed will be received. As I said, the low income housing tax credits are a competitive funding source. We spent some time talking about why we believe that this project will be competitive. And given Skid Row's recent experience, they've done a number of these projects. They've done 4 specific to veterans in Los Angeles County. They have quite a bit of experience, as all of their projects typically utilize this tool, so they understand how to make the application competitive. We discussed ways in which the city can work with Skid Row in order to secure a very competitive score to ensure that this project would go forward as well. I wanted to note that as part of their original proposal, they did propose 18, I believe it was 18 one-bedroom units with the manager's unit, making it a total of 19. The manager's unit was a 2-bedroom unit. City staff actually requested that they assume more 2-bedroom units. So the second scenario that they sent us included 3 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom units, with the remainder of the units, 16, being 1-bedroom. I also wanted to note that in terms of the developer selection on this project, that the terms of bedroom counts and unit sizes will be negotiated as part of the development agreement moving forward. And Skid Row has been very open to running additional scenarios, showing costs, and looking at any impacts to funding, which I don't think that they've identified any of those. We did look at their experience. As I said, they've done a number of these projects as part of the mission of their entity to provide specifically permanent supportive housing, not just affordable, but housing for people experiencing homelessness, including veterans. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have before I turn it over to Greg Smith, who's the Director of Finance for Skid Row Housing. And I believe they have a short presentation on the project for you.
Through the chair. Through the chair.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. I have a question. Good evening, Ms. Mosesman. So you heard the concern that was expressed by our resident, I think, about having some of the units dedicated to families. Did you say, am I hearing you correctly, there will be then 15 1-bedrooms and then 3 2-bedrooms? Is 2-bedroom, 2-bath units, is that correct?
Well, the scenario that we asked Skid Row Housing to run, in addition to the original one they submitted, which was all 1-bedrooms except for the manager's unit that was 2 bedrooms, they included a second scenario that included 2 additional 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom units to make a total of 3 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and then 16 1-bedroom. But I wanted to note that part of the negotiation process moving forward, that those are items that can be discussed, negotiated in terms of units and bedroom counts for what works best for the.
So that's negotiable then, the actual number of units, a number of 2-bedroom units would be negotiable.
Yes.
That's good to know. Thank you very much.
I have a quick question from Councilmember Mike Tejeda. Councilmember Mike Tejeda, you already knew the spread of 2 bedrooms versus 1 bedroom. In your home, I know you've been working with veterans many years, 15, maybe even 20 years. How do you feel about the current spread that we have right now?
Well, okay.
We'd like to take your opinion very seriously, sir. Go ahead.
First of all, I'm interested in having a project that houses veterans. So that's my number one concern, that we actually do the project. It would be, I think that the mix is okay. If you can get several 2-bedrooms, because that would accommodate a few families with children. But I don't see any problem at all with 3 2-bedrooms and just 1 bedroom. I think that you would fill that, you wouldn't have any problem at all. You accomplished what you wanted to do, which was to provide veteran housing. You can't be all things to all people all the time. It just doesn't work.
Okay.
I think if you create a project where you have 18 units and maybe 2 or 3 of them are 2 bedrooms, the rest 1 bedroom, that would be a perfect mix. I don't see that being a problem whatsoever. I was looking, obviously, okay, I've been working with HEDA. I'm just going to call not because I'm terrible and I can't see that far. But I run a nonprofit. It's called Wounded Heroes of America. It's a post 9/11 combat wounded guys here in Southern California. Been doing it since 2004. We've run the gamut, you know, starting when they were coming back, no rating, no HUD bash, no nothing, and housing was a problem. And man, if we could have put them in a 1-bedroom somewhere, that would have been wonderful. That would have been wonderful. And so my thought is that this so far sounds perfect. If you can create and stay basically using this, okay, for example, I'm looking at the plot map where you've got all the 1-bedrooms and all the open spaces. Is there parking available in this particular project? I don't see anywhere where you're showing any parking at all.
You know, the architect of the project is here or participating in the meeting, and that'll actually be part of the presentation in terms of the number of, I'll probably reserve, I'll defer to the architect to answer questions about the thinking about parking and the number.
Okay, Councilmember Tejeda,
To the chair, I have a question about the RFP.
Mayor Pro Tem. Yeah, go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, hi, Ms. Mosman. I have a question about the RFP. When we released the request for proposal, did we specifically say we wanted 1-bedroom apartments, or we wanted a blend of mix, you know, 3 and 2 bed? Because I remember the first RFP, we request, I think it was a blend mix of apartments, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, even 3-bedroom.
I don't know about 3, but. Okay.
Well, but it was talking about, I remember when we discussed with Arnie. So the RFP specifically managed 18 units, what type of unit they were?
No, I think we kept that part open to see what developers would propose for this type of project. The limitation that we put on the project was in terms of unit number, in terms of the number of units.
18.
18, not including a manager's unit.
So, Ms. Mosman, so the number and the spread came back from this specific developer on what they saw would be the appropriate mix, correct?
That's correct. I think this was their initial proposal, knowing that there would be some negotiations with the city to further refine the project if they were selected.
Okay, so
that
it sounds good. You know, I think we should just go ahead and listen to the presentation. I definitely don't want to get sidetracked by too many additional meetings in order to make the decision. I mean, I think there's people that need to be housed as soon as possible. So I think we've done our due diligence, and we've done a great job to get to the point where we're at.
To the chair, so I would say let's go for the presentation about the architect, but then I have question for the finance gentleman, James Owens, from the later on, okay?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, I guess everybody, I think we're probably, even myself, I'm kind of coming up to conclusions and maybe saying things without actually, a lot of our questions might be answered by the presentation.
That's what I want.
To the chair, I just have one question for
Go ahead. Let's make it brief so we can hear this.
We had, I think we had a conversation before, and you mentioned that there's 18 HUD VASH certificates that go along with this property. So that's already part of the commitment, I guess, from the county, right?
So we'll be reaching out to the county to get that commitment. When we did reach out to them prior to developer selection, we did talk to the county. They did say that we could apply for the vouchers. When I say we, I mean the city. And they said that what we need to do is to identify a developer. And at that time, we could go ahead and enter into an agreement with the county to secure the vouchers. So that would be a next step after developer selection.
Yeah.
Well, the presentation? Let's hear the presentation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And I'll turn it over to Greg Smith. He's the Director of Finance with Skid Row Housing Trust.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of City Council. Just wanted to make sure you can hear me.
Do we have a visual? Do we have a visual on you, or just want to be like?
I am trying to connect right now. It says you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
We want to hear what you're saying, and we also want to see the expressions on your face. Make sure you're legit, man.
Yeah.
But if you can't connect, that's all right. There we go.
Okay, here we are.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of City Council. We are very excited for the opportunity to develop 18 affordable units in the city of Hawthorne. I know there's been some discussions on unit mix, and I think being this early on in the process, we are open to any unit mixes that you guys are interested in. Of course, we'll have to discuss that with the architect, but just wanted to lay that out there. Eric, do you have the slides? I don't see the slides.
I'll bring them up right now.
Okay. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this is our development team. Currently includes Skid Row Housing Trust as the developer and KFA as architect, and we will continue to bring on other members of the development team as time goes on. Next slide, please. The trust has been around for 30 years, and we are one of the pioneers of permanent supportive housing. We provide wraparound services in-house, and we have 4 distinct lines of business, including real estate development, asset management, property management, and supportive services. On the slide, you can see photos of one of our veteran projects, Senator. This is a project that we recently rehabbed. Next slide, please. Our permanent supportive housing portfolio consists of 26 projects throughout Los Angeles County. Skid Row Housing Trust partners with visionary architects such as KFA, as well as leading researchers in health and social services to create attractive and functional buildings that enable individuals to live safe and stable lives. And on this slide, you can see photos of one of our projects, Crest Apartments. This is a new construction project that houses veterans. And since I only have like a minute, I'm gonna transition this presentation to KFA, and Jaime is gonna present the design in a little more detail.
Hello, everybody, and a good evening. Next slide. My name is Jaime Olmos with KFA Architecture, and I'll be talking about the design. I'll try to keep it brief. But I will say at the beginning that we're early in the design process, and so we look forward to hearing from the city and the community. We always begin with site analysis, to try to better understand the community and the context. This is a great site. Just went white for me. Thorpe Park is just a short walk away. There's nearby schools, there's stores on Rosecrans, the church next door. One of the things that I noticed when I visited the site was jacaranda trees that are mature, very peaceful quality to them, and I thought was very appropriate for the for a veterans project. Can we pull up the slides again? The other thing that that resonated with us as we were looking at the site is the city motto, a city of good neighbors. This really resonates with the values of our organization. And so we're exploring through the design how this project can be a good neighbor to its community. Next slide, please. Next slide. That just shows the site. So we've laid out the site. It is 19 units as a series of small structures around a traditional courtyard plan. In the middle is a shared community gathering space. This could be outdoor place for outdoor seating, have a fire pit. It is equally accessible to all residents, disabled veterans, whoever lives, whether, the single mom veterans that make up this community. We're proposing to preserve those existing trees and actually add to them, making a line along the northern edge. We've opened up the west side to the prevailing breeze to allow ventilation through the site. And we've oriented the structures so that they will optimize natural light inside the units, as well as shading the hot summer sun. The building's 2 stories along Cordery, stepping down to 1 story. You can see the driveway at the bottom. That's near the retail on the south, to provide some space for any noise that would come from the retail. And then there's parking spaces there, disabled as well as regular parking. And it would be possible to add to that. Next slide. I want to highlight 3 zones that make up the project design, beginning with the front porch. This is on the front of the project along the sidewalk, and it's about interacting with the community. This is about being a good neighbor. It's about knowing your neighbors. It provides a safe place that's both public and private. And it's something we've done before that puts people's eyes on the street. It's a place for residents to sit back on lounge chairs and talk, to wait for visitors, a place to wait for your Lyft driver or a shuttle. At night, this will be well lit and, excuse me, with activity in the community room that's right behind it. Community room is kind of like a living room for the project. Next slide. The community room would open up into the center of the project, the community gathering space that we're calling the central courtyard. This is the heart of the project, a gathering place for residents to be neighborly with each other. There could be barbecues, there could be a fire pit, movie night. This is where neighbors can see each other and be seen. This would be a great place for art for the veterans. Next slide. There's a trail that leads you all the way to the west, which is what we're calling the backyard. This is about connecting with nature through a variety of activities. Smaller, more intimate gatherings, community garden where the site receives the most sun. People can get their hands dirty and grow food. Tranquil place for activities. This would be very suitable for kids if people had children. And there would be a fenced-in area for pets and dogs. Next slide. Inside the units, whether they're 1 or 2 bedroom, they're designed for livability. That means flexibility in how you want to lay it out. It means lots of natural light, durable and warm materials where you can grow old, and barrier-free design that supports independent living for all people. Next slide. So the project has a lot of opportunity for equity and sustainability that promotes health and wellness. As I mentioned, lots of fresh air, lots of trees, shade, views, place for privacy, and places to congregate. Everybody has access to nature here, and everybody deserves that, especially our veterans. This project is proposed as a net zero project, meaning that all the energy that's consumed on site is offset by solar panels. It's also proposed to be modular construction, which means that it's sustainable, built off site, minimizes construction waste and chemicals that would be introduced to the site. The driveway would be permeable, allowing pollutants to be filtered out and kept out of the ocean. Next slide. This is the representation of the building as you would approach on Cordery from Rosecrans. In the middle of it, you see the front porch where there's people congregating and sitting in chairs. Right behind them is the community room that I mentioned with large windows, keeping eyes on the street. It's 2 stories here along Cordery, and right above the community room, you see a roof deck with the trellis that shades it. Closer to you in the foreground, it would be the lobby and the property manager's office. Again, being able to keep tabs on who's coming in and going out. Above that is a 1-bedroom unit. Because they're modular units, there's an opportunity for large windows. And then you see light shelves. They're both shade the sun in the summer, but also bounce light into the ceiling inside. You envision a lot of landscape. Sorry?
Mr. Olmos, I might have missed, where's the parking on this?
If you want to go back a few slides, I can point out the parking. Keep going. Okay, right there. There's a driveway at the bottom along the south.
Yes.
And then there's a few, there's 3 stalls, 2 of which are for, disabled.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all the parking we have?
That's all the parking that is required. If additional parking is desired, we have the space for it.
You have the space for it, right? Okay.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, we don't want to, we have an issue with parking in that area.
Yeah.
To aggravate that would be irresponsible.
Okay.
I mean, that's like our biggest gripe that we have,
You will, to the chair.
Yes.
So each unit is going to have how many parking spots?
The project does not have parking for every unit.
You do not have parking for every unit?
No, it does not.
So you have basically what, 8 parking spaces for the?
We have 3 spaces.
3 spaces for the entire 18 units.
Correct.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. We're going to need to talk about that, but go
Yeah.
ahead with your.
Yeah, go ahead.
But that's a non-negotiable, especially since that's a high problem parking area. So, and you say you have the room for it. All you got to just do is just draw it in, right?
Yeah, we actually have room for it. And so that's not going to be a deal killer by any means.
Thank you. No, I'm sorry. I just, it's like what stood out first. I'm sorry, man. That's like, trust me, Yeah.
That's good to know. It's good to know about the
this.
site.
Yeah.
Okay. I was basically done. That was the last image. And so, to sum it up, we're excited about the opportunity that this veteran project offers. We think it can have a lot of benefit and contribute to the City of Good Neighbors. And like I mentioned earlier, this is preliminary. And so we're really looking forward to hearing concerns like parking and ideas for how to improve the project.
Okay, so Mr. Olmos, just let's get straight to it. What my question was, so where would you place the parking on that diagram? If you could open that diagram, it sounds like it wouldn't change the footprint. You have that fire lane that could be divided into. Sounds like that fire lane could be divided into fire lane and parking, right?
Yeah, I would basically add parking to both sides of where I currently have it. And then at the end, I have trash. I can move that around. And so I would basically extend the row of parking.
Yeah, we really need to have more than one parking space per, especially we're gonna have we just need to have. We can't do this 0.8 parking spaces or what? I think right now you got like 0.15 parking spaces. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Greg, what's going on with you? Why didn't you mention this to him? Greg.
Good evening, Mayor. Yes, we did mention that was one of my first comments was this is just a rendering in their initial proposal. But that was one of the first things I had mentioned that they'll have to address the parking issue. So they're well aware of it.
No, I'm impressed by the layout. I like the footprint. I wouldn't want to lose this footprint, but we gotta. I mean, we can't. We gotta get that parking in there.
Yeah, to the chair.
Quality of life is gonna just decrease if they don't. I mean, are we assuming that veterans don't have cars?
No, we're not.
So I mean that we can't make that assumption.
We can't.
All right, go ahead.
Well, the open space is really kind of important, to have all the things that we, places to grow gardens and things of that nature, because you're going to have veterans that are not employed, that they have all day, that, things like that are good to have. But you got to make room for their cars as well, because they do have cars. And you can't go on the assumption that I'm sure that in a project like this, there will be a few people that don't drive and don't have a car within this community. But you can't really go with that assumption, because any young veteran has a car, and so, but it really looks wonderful because it satisfies a lot of the things that I thought would be necessary, which would be open space, a lot of greenery, a little serene. But you gotta have a place to park your cars.
You have that long dog run. You have that long dog run in the back. Yeah, I'll let you go. You have that long dog run in the back. You have like some tables, I guess, over there. I mean, there's you do have sufficient enough green space in between. So we need to definitely exceed the one parking space per unit, and make sure that the visitors have enough parking spaces as well. The mission here is, and from the lessons learned, is that nobody that comes to stay here or visitors in the totality, no one should have to park on the street for not anything. The parking here needs to take care of all that. We can't be using the same standards as we have with previous administration on like what has been built in Hawthorne in the other sections of Monita Gardens. So Greg, you know what the problems are, man. I need you to really just step up on that for us.
Yeah. Yes, Mayor. Like I said, they're aware of it and they'll be working. I also mentioned that with supportive services, they need to provide parking spaces for those employees who will come onto the site to provide those supportive services. So it'll be addressed.
Mayor Pro Tem, who's that? Was it Mayor Pro Tem or?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying.
Councilwoman, yeah, I couldn't see you.
Thank you. So I think it's a beautiful project. I agree with Councilman Fayeda. I think it's a very serene setting. I love the outdoor gathering places. It's perfect for for what is needed in terms of calming people down and making them feel like they're part of a community. It's perfect for that. I agree with Mayor Vargas. We need to really concentrate on the parking because we cannot afford to add parking to the streets, the surrounding streets. So I agree with that. I wanted to know also, what supportive services do you have and what is the goal of the supportive services?
Would you like to respond to that, Greg?
Through the chair, before we go to supportive service, can we talk about the parking and the layout and 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom first, please?
Okay. To the chair.
I was waiting, Mike.
Oh,
okay.
Councilmember Tejeda, I mean, didn't you ask somebody? Didn't you ask a question over here? Has it been asked?
I've never felt that we needed to make room for supportive services. I think that the veteran community has West LA, Long Beach VA, Gardena Vet Center, clinics all over the place. They have access to access. And and ride sharing and so forth and so on, that for a small unit like this, I don't see any real need for, I don't know what kind of supported services they would be offering. So if something was to go, in my opinion, it would be whatever room that would take up, because the the veteran community here in LA, Southern California, has within half an hour a major hospital or clinic or vet center. So I don't think that when you're limiting your space and how much room you got, what are you trying to accomplish? What I'm trying to accomplish here is a place to live, a place for veterans to live. And that's my main concern.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay.
Thank you, council member.
Yes, again, I have to agree with my colleague. It's a beautiful layout. Especially like you said, the open space, the community garden, the net zero, with all the solar panels, fantastic project. My concern is always when it comes down to housing, even veterans or some other individual, there is not enough apartment for families. Okay, so I understand that it's only 40,000 acre. I would love to see maybe we can still have 14 one bedroom, at least let's say 4 or even 5 2 bedrooms, something like that. Okay, and I would compromise to say maybe 1 parking space per unit, because I know that we will not be able to do 2 parking spaces per unit because of the square footage of the property. Because like we said, it could be some of them might have 1 car or 2 car, or even might not have a car because because they maybe because of some of them might be challenged individuals that might not drive. But the concern about that, because I think the beginning when we talk about this project about more than a year ago, it was to make it a blend, maybe 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms. So I'm willing to compromise to say if the Skid Row Housing Trust is be able to do, like I said, 14 1 bedroom, and at least give us 4 2 bedroom, I would be happy about it, and 1 parking space per unit.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay? That's my first thing, because what we can do later on, we can talk about more additional parking that could be utilized at the Jim Thorpe Park.
Through the chair.
And I want to respond to Mayor Pro Tem. I like his idea, and I think I am tempted to want to see an increase in the family units. Yes, I agree, but we know, and from experience, that those family parking, thinking that that's going to just be 1 parking space needed for those is kind of like, we already know.
We have to compromise on something, because we don't know. We don't have. If we want,
we
a place to live. But I understand about parking, because remember, I'm right there. I have a.
But Mayor Pro Tem, right now it's in the designing phase. Yeah, right now they can give us the needed parking we need. He didn't say he wouldn't. So we just gotta come up with the number of parking we need, and he's going to draw it in.
He will sacrifice a lot of the open space.
Do you have a dog run? How many of these people are expected to have dogs?
Yeah, okay. he does have something about us. I read something.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, there's like certain things that could be compromised.
Through the
here,
chair.
just so that we can have parking, especially since it's just been so impacting. But
through the chair.
I just believe we could get more parking out of this. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if we could, we could.
I just want to weigh in on that, and I agree with the parking issue. We can't do everything here. This is a beautiful development as it is. I don't want to sacrifice the open space feeling of this place
Yeah.
and make it just a series of boxes so we can get parking and bigger units in. I think, I agree that we'll have to make some compromises, but I don't want to compromise the ambiance of the place as it is. I think it's a beautiful development. I don't want to turn it into a series of boxes, which is what we have already in Hawthorne, too many of those. And developers always claim that they just couldn't afford to put in open space. And here we have the opportunity for open space. I don't want to sacrifice too much of that. I think we have to agree on parking. I think we have to have parking, but I don't think I don't see how we can force them to put other things in. I don't see how we can build increase the number of 2-bedroom units. I think they're going to be forced to eliminate some of the nice space that they have that makes it livable.
To the chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Councilmember.
They can always do the equivalent of a single without a bedroom and reduce on the square footage, because some of those you're going to get some veterans that are just one individual, and maybe you could have 2 singles in that mix and add the bedroom to another 1 bedroom and offer a single, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms.
Like a studio.
Yeah, exactly, like a studio, because if you have 2 studios, you're going to have somebody very happy in one of those studios.
Yeah.
And you could give that extra square footage to a 1 bedroom and turn that into a 2 bedroom. And I agree with Olivia that the most attractive part after a roof over your head is a nice ambiance where you could walk around and move around a little bit, and it's not all concrete, so but I think that if you out of the 18 units, you make a couple of them studios, and that helps in the square footage and allows parking, an additional parking space. I think that's well worth it, because you're going to have veterans that would be absolutely happy with a studio.
Yeah, to the chair, I want to hear again from Mr. James Walls. What do you think about this conversation? What you guys can compromise? Mr. Holmes.
Jaime.
Because I know that it has to do about, the cost of the units, how much it's going to cost the bill. So everything, it comes also to the cost. So I want to see, by you listen to this conversation, are you willing to not to compromise too many of those open space? Because I love the community gardens, I love the open space, but to give at least a few more 2 bedrooms, because there is veterans that have families, because that is a challenge about them getting place into homes. And then, like Mike suggests, studio, maybe a few studio and 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom. How do you think, by giving us at least 1 parking space per unit, what do you think?
So I can speak to that as the architect. It is true, if we provide more parking, if we provide larger units, it does take up open space. We're happy to look at that. We're happy to work with the trust, but I can't speak to it financially in terms of those impacts. Mm-hmm. Greg, jump in here if you'd like, but we're happy to provide alternative layouts. I know if I were to make some of these 2 bedrooms, I'd probably put them towards the backyard where kids would want to play. So I have those kinds of instincts, but we'd be happy to show some options if that's okay to say, Greg.
Mr. Olmos?
Yes.
I like for you to entertain just the fact that, like, if we're going to 1 unit per for unit. But then if I would like for you to consider the two parking spaces per the family units. If you were to build this though, my question is, are you building on top? Are you having units stacked on top of each other?
There are some two-story portions. If we flip back to, I think 2 slides backwards, you can see the two-story portions.
Okay,
There you
and
go.
the portions that are not 2-story, can you make those 2 stories just so we can make these accommodations?
We could do that. We add some stairs, but it's doable.
So that we don't lose everything. Well, it's still because you still have the issue with the. I just like to see the enough parking because I'm not going to be the one answering any questions when these people start complaining about parking. I know who I'm going to send them to.
I hear you.
And then when that happens, you're not going to be laughing.
Through the chair.
Eric.
So to be clear, Mr. Olmos won't be here to answer those questions when they come. So we're going to head that off at the pass. And so I think the feedback the council's provided has been excellent and really gets to the heart of, I think, some of the concerns that staff and our consultant have already identified. And so what I really, I don't want to short circuit the conversation at all, but really wanted to focus on the action item for the council tonight is we think we've got a great partner in Skid Row Housing Trust to actually get a development going. And so we're going to come back after we negotiate an agreement with them and you'll know exactly what this is going to be. I know that if we come back without enough parking, that's going to be dead on arrival for the council. So I think that's very clear to us. And so just really wanted to just remind the council that the action item today is just to authorize us to move forward, get an exclusive negotiation agreement together, and actually go do the real hard work of hammering out that agreement to bring it back to something that is acceptable for the council.
It looks beautiful. And
yeah, it does.
And Eric, why didn't you speak up earlier? We have to wait like half hour
We
later.
wouldn't have had this great feedback if I had spoken up earlier.
Okay, I make a motion.
I second.
Yeah.
Roll call vote on accepting this development agreement or accepting the developer.
Councilmember Montero,
Yes.
Councilmember Toledo,
Yes.
Councilmember Valentine,
Yes.
Councilmember Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
Okay, the vote reflects mayor and council voting yes with Councilmember Awad absent.
Thank you so much, colleagues.
I want to thank all the gentlemen, the guests today. Thank you for your presentation. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jaime Olmos and Greg Smith is great job. And Greg, you too, Greg.
Mosman, thank you.
And Mrs. Mosesman. Okay, no, thanks guys. Thanks to all of you. You guys, we're very excited. As you can see, we're very excited.
We'll be in touch.
Don't want to lose the footprint. Don't want to lose the aesthetics. So let's just keep moving forward. Let's figure out a solution. Quality of life, guys. All right. What's next?
Have a good night.
All right. Good night. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you. Thank you.
Mr. City Manager, your consent calendar.
Mayor, we've got item 17, request for a special meeting. I can give you a quick report on that.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, it wasn't highlighted here. Go ahead.
So next regular council meeting is December 8th. That's also the date that we anticipate having the council certifying the election results from the November 3rd election.
Okay.
And so what staff's proposing is that we reserve that council meeting date to say goodbye to members of the council that will be leaving, swear in and install new council members and welcome them to the council, and then essentially adjourn for the evening, and then come back for a special meeting on Tuesday, December 15th at 6 p.m. to actually conduct a real business meeting for the council in December. And as a reminder, we've already canceled the December 22nd regular meeting. So we'd have the installation of new council members on the 8th, special meeting on the 15th. And that would be it for December.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Please vote. Roll call.
Councilmember Montero,
Yes.
Councilmember Toledo,
Yes.
Councilmember Valentine,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
The vote reflects mayor and city council voting yes with Councilmember Awad absent.
City Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have items 19 through 31 on my consent calendar for your consideration.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Please vote. Roll call.
Um, Councilmember Montero,
Yes.
Councilmember Toledo,
Yes.
Councilmember Valentine,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
Okay, the vote reflects mayor and city council voting yes with Councilmember Watt absent.
Okay. Mr. City Attorney, your consent calendar, please. Your consent calendar, please.
Yes, I have items number 33 and 34.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Montero,
Yes.
Councilmember Toledo,
Yes.
Councilmember Valentine,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
The vote reflects mayor and city council voting yes with Councilmember Watt absent.
There are no city council discussion action items at this time. So I'm going to start off with the elected officials reports. City Clerk Paul Jimenez is not here, right? Is that correct, Ms. Diane? Mr. Treasurer David Patterson, Councilmember-elect Patterson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm actually under the weather at the moment, so I don't have any at this time, though.
You're okay?
I'll be all right for the 8th, that's for sure.
Sure? Are you sure? Okay, all right, good. All right, thank you, sir.
The better.
Councilmember Tayeda?
Well, that was a wonderful discussion. I've been waiting for that for a long time. I feel that the most important thing is to give them housing. The reason why I say about the services is because I've had, like, for example, I have vets out on the Navajo reservation in Arizona. And people don't realize that in Arizona, if you want to go to one of the vets in the capital, which is Window Rock, if you want to go to a VA hospital, you got to travel to Albuquerque. That's 2.5 hours, 3 hours. If you want to go to another hospital, you'd have to go to Phoenix. That's 5 hours, or Flagstaff. So they have a couple little clinics here and there, but it's nothing. There's nothing compared to what we have here in Southern California, where within half an hour, 45 minutes, you have Loma Linda, you have the Balboa Hospital in San Diego, you've got Long Beach VA, you've got West LA VA, you have all over the Inland Empire, you have vet centers. So, to take space that could be for somebody or one or two people to live, vets to live there, I would rather just do that than to utilize space for a service that, all a vet has to do that's disabled is call access. They'll go there, take them to the VA, come back, and then, you do what you need to have done. So that, when push comes to shove, that would be the first thing that I would throw out. To make room for parking or to make room for housing. The other thing too is you got a lot of guys out there or gals that would be happier in hell to just have a studio. And so a studio would be another something that I would throw in there immediately. What I wouldn't want to give up is the green space and the space to put a nice big flagpole with an American flag out there, things like that, that I would want to see in that project. And then, make it happen, make it happen, because the important thing, and you don't really realize what a opportunity we have, Hawthorne has, is that if you put that together and it's a nice project and it works really well, you could take that project and you could take it down the street to another city and say, hey, look what we did, and it's working really well. And it's a lot easier to put, and a lot of these cities have lots like we had that lot where they don't know what to do with it. And you could just say, listen, here, smaller, it's better than big. Big takes forever to get done. Small can be done rather quickly. And I don't know, when the modular thing, is that like the hotel across the street from the city hall, that kind of modular? That's what they're talking about. But it looks really good. It looks really good. So far, so good. I hope that I'm not going to be around. I want to be around when they break ground and when they see it, but I certainly would love to see that project to fruition, because it will make Hawthorne it'll put a nice feather on your hat, and we could go show other people what we did with a piece of vacant land. Because there's a lot of other cities, I'm sure that they would love to do that. These people seem to know what they're doing. So I hope that our planning department and you can't get, you got to have the parking. I don't care. They'll kill us. They'll kill you guys. I ain't going to be around to take no calls, but you know the drill on the parking around town. So yeah, I hope that happens. I really do. So that's it. That's all I got to say about that. I'm pretty excited about that project happening. But get rid of room that you don't really use, and if that becomes a problem. That's my 2 cents. And I'm sticking to it. Okay. That's it.
All right, anybody else? All right, so thank you, Councilmember Valentine.
Thank you. So I'm proud to announce that on November 17th, the city of Hawthorne joined 14 other South Bay cities in launching the South Bay Fiber Network. As I said at the last meeting, this is a partnership with the South Bay Cities Council of Governments, in which all 15 cities in the South Bay have participated. The network connects to at least one city facility in 15 cities in the South Bay. It's a high-speed capacity broadband network, which will allow the South Bay cities to embrace the digital economy with high-speed connections and smart city technologies. We will continue to bring you information as we put this great new tool to use. And there are so many wonderful new ways that we will be able to use this new technology in our own city. And that also will be made clear in the near future. I have asked City Manager Eric Lee to give an update on coronavirus and what the new restrictions are, and I would like to ask him to do that at this time.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilmember Valentine. As the council knows, the landscape as it relates to state regulations and county regulations has significantly changed over the last couple of weeks, and wanted to just bring some of the major changes to your attention and to the community's attention. On the state level, the California Department of Public Health, they issued new guidelines on the use of face masks last week. And essentially, unless you fall into some exempted categories based on your activity or some physical disabilities you might have, face coverings must be worn 100% when you're outside the home. Additionally, the state issued a limited stay-at-home order on November 19th. It requires that all gatherings with members of other households and activities be conducted outside. And if you have any gathering with people outside your household, that has to cease at 10 p.m. So between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 a.m., that's not allowed anymore. Of course, there's a lot of exceptions, especially if you're involved in essential activities, maintaining critical infrastructure, other requirements under the law. On the county side, a new health order was issued last week, and that limited private gatherings outdoors to 15 persons from a maximum of 3 different households. What else? Outdoor dining at restaurants, breweries, and wineries is limited to 50% of that capacity. And they have to close between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. However, they may continue to serve delivery, drive-through, carry-out, etc. As it relates to further restrictions, the county has made it very clear with the last order that if the 5-day average of cases is $4,000, or I'm sorry, 4,000 cases per day or more, or hospitalizations are more than 1,750 per day, outdoor dining and indoor dining at restaurants, breweries, et cetera, will be prohibited. And then they've also made it clear that if the 5-day average is more than 4,500 cases or hospitalizations are more than 2,000 a day, a new safer at home order will be mandated for 3 weeks. And, as of today, there was another 3,692 cases reported in the county. There are currently 1,575 people currently hospitalized with COVID-19. 26% of those are in the ICU. And because of the 5-day average of cases that have exceeded thresholds established by the county, they've notified us that tomorrow they're going to be issuing a new modified order, and it's going to restrict all dining at restaurants, breweries, and wineries and bars effective tomorrow at 10 p.m. So that means in-person dining outdoors is going to be prohibited for a minimum of 3 weeks. Takeout, drive-through, and delivery will still be allowed, and wineries, breweries can continue retail operations. I think the latest thing we have on this is that the Board of Supervisors met this morning, and my understanding is that they had a very lively discussion about a motion that Supervisor Barger made to rescind the ban on outdoor dining, pointing to the fact that it's economically crippling to the restaurant community. The news that I've seen this afternoon is that motion failed on a 3-2 vote, with Supervisor Barger and Janice Hahn voting for it and the others voting against it. And so, I think that's the latest of where we're at. I think, from an economic standpoint, it's disappointing for our businesses, specifically our restaurants that have really endeavored and invested to put a lot of structures and systems in place to safely allow outdoor dining. And, if the landscape of the county changes, I will keep you informed.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Yes, I support Supervisor Barger's pushback on the new county restrictions. The science does not support this restriction. I don't see significant evidence that the uptick in coronavirus cases was caused by socially distanced outdoor dining. And this is going to cripple Hawthorne restaurants, and particularly those who have twisted themselves in knots to try and adapt to a constantly changing landscape where they have to, some of them have spent money on purchasing umbrellas and outdoor furniture so they could serve their meals outdoors. And now they're going to have to close even that down. I don't think the science supports this. I think this is very unfortunate, and it's too bad that the governor and the county have a one-size-fits-all attitude. That seems to be their attitude about almost everything, and the coronavirus issue is no exception. I'm very disappointed with this new order. Unfortunately, we have to enforce it. So obviously our businesses have to comply, but we don't have to like it. I think this is very unfortunate for our city. I wanted to mention that the Hawthorne Business Expo, we asked our businesses to reinvent themselves, so we've reinvented ourselves too. So Hawthorne Business Expo 2021 will be virtual. It won't be the same expo you've always enjoyed with hundreds of people coming and 70 exhibit tables. It won't be that. We're going to have panel discussions, and we're going to have entertainment. It'll be a nice event. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on January 27th. It's a Wednesday. It will be a virtual town hall. We're going to have we're going to have 2 panel discussions. One which will be experts showing businesses the resources that are available to them through the community and the government. The second will be businesses talking about how they have reinvented themselves to adapt to the changing environment. We also will have a keynote speaker, and we will have entertainment. We're going to have a comedian, and we're going to have a singer. That's been confirmed. So we're going to pack a lot in those 4 hours. Hopefully it'll be a fun event. Again, it won't be the same thing you're always used to, but we've had to reinvent ourselves as well. So please, we're going to be, the website has been launched. It's hawthornebusinessexpo.com. So come to the website and see what we have to offer. And by all means, register to attend. I wanted to also stress the virtual 2020 holiday home decorating contest. If you haven't already entered, I'm asking the residents, please enter. You must be a Hawthorne resident. You must have your picture sent by December 15th, and the judging is on December 16th. There are 3 awards, and for more information, call 310-349-1640. And the last thing I have, we're going to try and have a little cheer this year. We have a movie night for Christmas, The Grinch, on Saturday, December 19th at the Hawthorne Memorial Center lot at 5 p.m. The lot opens at 5 p.m. The movie starts at 6 p.m. and you need to register online because space is limited. Again, call 310-349-1640. So thank you all and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, staff. Thank you, the community, for listening. First, I want to address something because, Hawthorne was on the news about voting fraud. And a lot of people thought that Alex Monteiro was in jail. So I got a lot of emails, text message saying that, are you okay? Are you in jail? Because people associate my last name as Alex Monteiro with Montenegro. So I'm not Montenegro. I'm not Aravallo. So the 2 guys that supposed done those frauds, they weren't ever mayoral candidate, because the news, failed to mention that one of the guys tried to run, but he was disqualified. So those 2 guys were never mayoral candidates for the city of Hawthorne, because that's what some of the news, like the Fox News, and mentioned. So I didn't do no fraud, and that's not my character. I've been here for 25 years. I never committed a crime in this city, and I don't intend to. So I'm not in jail. So it was not Alex Monteiro who did the fraud, but it was this guy named Antonio de Bourbon Montenegro and Carlos Aravallo. So it was not Monteiro. Okay, so I'm not in jail. So you see, I'm still here. So that's it. I want to thanks to a lot of people that helped me yesterday, that I distributed about 204 Thanksgiving baskets to the needy families. And we distribute about more than $5,000 in cash and gift cards. So I want to thank the Hawthorne President's Council. I want to thank the Hawthorne Municipal Employees Association, Chevron, Women's Club, my sister, Dr. Natalina Montero, MGI, Hawthorne School District, Connected Credit Union, SoCal Gas, Golden State Water, for all their support to allow myself and my volunteers to give about 204 families Thanksgiving baskets and gift cards and cash to go buy their own turkey. So I want to say thank you. I just want to make sure that everybody's safe. I agree, the business was almost like a double wham. Now it's the 3rd time that they have to shut down. So we know that a lot of small business, especially restaurants, struggle. So when we set up to do outdoor diners, we buy a lot of stuff, canopies, heaters, all the stuff to be prepared, and then we have to shut it down. So we understand, the pandemic is, the infection rate has gone up tremendously for these past 2 weeks. So I hope everybody stays safe. Have a good Thanksgiving and make sure you enjoy with your family, or if it's via Zoom or in person, practice all the safe protocol, 6 feet distance, mask. So try to be considerate to one another, because human life is precious. And we have lost more than 260,000 people to this disease. So we don't want that number to continue to climb. So I hope the vaccine will come soon, and I hope that all of us will take the vaccine and this pandemic will go away. So God bless and happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
Thank you. So I also, thank you. I want to thank everybody for being here today. I appreciate all your, questions and the lively interchange that we had here today over the veterans housing. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of that. I think we're going to do great things. And everybody have a great night. Have a safe Thanksgiving. Just be very careful. Try to follow some of those suggestions that were made by the health experts, and be safe. Okay, so everybody have a great night and good evening. This meeting,
Bye-bye. Happy Thanksgiving.
meeting is now adjourned.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
All right, thank you.